It's Joshua. Like people think like I just go up on this Catholic stuff and this Jesus stuff and this Christian stuff. 11:26 Acts 11:26 they shall be. That's my birthday. 11:26 they shall be called Christians. That's my birthday, man. Like people think I just down the teachings of Jesus. I'm not down it. Like because I know things that I know it backward. I know the New Testament backwards and forwards. I know Revelations backwards. I know those teachings as well. Like I know more than I know the Old Testament stuff. That I know that dispels the stuff that I know it backwards and forwards. Like I was talking about, man. Like Jesus gets denied by Peter 3 times, right? He denies him 3. The cock will crow, crow 3 times, right? Have you ever heard anybody teach you this teaching? The cock will crow 3 times. He denies him 3 times. Jesus, how many times does Jesus fall? And I know this because I know this from where was I? I was in Reno. I was actually in the town of the Nazarene because Reno actually is the town of the Nazarene. I was in Reno and I was walking out of where was I? I was walking out. Actually, I was going to Lake Tahoe. I was walking out of there and I came by this Catholic church, right? Or no, it was actually a Lutheran church, and there was this big sign on the wall, and it says, "As I walk through the shadow of the valley of death." It was right there. It was this David thing, and this is before I didn't know very much at this time, but I knew some, and there was the Stations of the Cross inside there, right? And I was like, well, I'm just gonna go and sit down inside this Lutheran church, and the Stations of the Cross, and I'm sitting down there, and I'm just trying to relax or whatever. And I started walking around the Stations of the Cross, and I didn't even realize this is how I even figured this out. I mean, this is God teaching me stuff. So I'm walking through the Stations of the Cross. Like people think I'm denying the teachings of Jesus or whatever. I'm walking through the Stations of the Cross, and I look, and it's like Jesus falls 1 time, Jesus falls 2 times, Jesus falls 3 times. Right? I was like, oh, okay. But then it was like a minute after that, but it stuck with me. Jesus falls 3 times. Maybe it was at that time. I don't know. A lot of stuff happens. But then, all of a sudden, I'm like, Jesus falls 3 times. Peter denies him 3 times. I think that's when I equated that at the first time. I was like, Jesus falls 3 times. Peter denies him 3 times. Right? But then it was later on that I was looking at something else, and it was like, who does Jesus call out of the crowd to help him carry his cross? He will carry his cross. Who's he call out of the crowd? Simon. What does Jesus rename Peter? Simon. He renames Peter. He renames Simon Peter, right? Then Peter, who he renames and takes ownership over, denies him. And then when he's there carrying his cross, Peter's not there, so he has to call the stranger Simon out of the crowd. Peter, who he had renamed and taken ownership over, this is it's kind of like a story of the Jew. Simon the stranger, come out, and who helps him carry? Pope Francis helps him carry. No, Pope Francis isn't even there. Simon the stranger, he has to pull Simon the stranger. Not Simon Peter, who walked on the water with him and all that stuff. He calls Simon the stranger out to carry his cross. That's what, so people think I deny it. Have you ever heard anybody explain the Stations of the Cross to you? Because that's what it means. Peter denies him 3 times. He renames Simon Peter, gives him ownership and takes ownership over him, denies him, and he's like, oh, you're my best friend. And then Peter denies him 3 times, isn't even there at his death. He falls for the 3rd time. He's looking around for his friend. His friend's not even there. So he has to call Simon the stranger out again to help him carry his cross. You shall carry your cross. That's their actual teaching. I mean, if you want to get down to it, what do you think, Bishop Adam, with Socrates?